Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Winnipeg Jets media availability with Jets' new first-round pick, Chaz Lucius. Anyone with questions for Chaz, use the raise hand function now and we'll get started. And we'll get going with Ken Wiebe from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weaver.
Thanks, Gregor. Evening, Chaz. How would you describe this moment, and how would you describe yourself as a player for those who haven't seen you play live before?
Obviously, the moment was really special, obviously, to share with my family and to be here with USA Hockey, who's helped me along the way. And then obviously, I'd say with my game aspect of it, I'd say if I were to describe my game, I'd say what sticks out the most is my goal scoring and offensive production. I'd say I'm a good teammate, a good leader, and I do the right thing and play a good 200-foot game.
We'll go next to Mike McIntyre from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Gregor. Congratulations, Chaz. Just reading a bit about your last season. Sounds like it didn't get off to the best start with obviously a long recovery there. How frustrating was that? And I guess, do you feel that maybe caused you to fall a bit? And you were projected to go potentially in the top 10 in the draft.
Obviously the injury, it wasn't the best happening in my draft year, but I really rolled with it as it happened in the recovery process. And I really couldn't control it at all. So, I mean, from day one, I wasn't going to get sad. I wasn't going to get mad. Whatever happened with the draft, so it may. But, you know, I'm glad I'm a Winnipeg Jet now, and I'm really fortunate that they drafted me.
Just for those of you that haven't been on one of our Zoom interviews before, if you have questions, just use the raise hand function and I'll be sure to get to everybody. But we'll go next to Murat Atesh from The Athletic. Go ahead, Murat.
Thanks, Gregor. Hi, Chaz. Congratulations on the selection. There's a really nice Scott Wheeler story that talks about some of what you did with your downtime when you were hurt. And he gets into some of the books you were reading. And I'm just wondering, like, how did you use that to kind of build and use that time to become an even better person player this year?
Yeah, in the recovery process, obviously reading the books was good, and it really motivated me and pushed me to keep going in the recovery process. And I use it as motivation, like I said. And then I'd say from a mental standpoint, it was really beneficial for me to read the books. And then obviously just being around people every day. And, you know, some days there's people going through the same thing that I was. So just knowing that I wasn't alone, that I was going to get through it.
We'll go next to Gemma Carson-Smith from the Canadian Press. Go ahead, Gemma.
Sorry about that, just trying to mute the TV in the background. Chaz, can you tell us what you know about the Winnipeg Jets?
Yeah, obviously it's close to home for me, so that's a plus for sure. But I'd say it's a really fun team to watch, fast paced. There's a really bright future for the Winnipeg Jets, and I'm just happy to be a part of it at this point. You know, I'm really looking forward to the future of the Winnipeg Jets also. And I mean, just, you know, a lot of great players on the team already. So I'm hoping to add to that and contribute to, you know, one day, hopefully win a Stanley Cup.
We'll go back to Ken Wiebe from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weaver.
Chaz, how did hockey become your passion, and why was the U.S. national program the best route for you as you get ready to head to the University of Minnesota in the fall?
Yeah, actually, hockey was one of the last sports I went into. Just growing up in Minnesota, all my buddies played it. So I started at 8 years old and never looked back ever since. I fell in love with the game. So I'd say from that moment on, I was really, you know, all in hockey, I'd say, and really passionate about the sport. So I'd probably say that's kind of what my love of hockey, you know, when it started and then, you know, continues to this day.
We'll go back to Mike McIntyre from the Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Chaz, the Jets, I'm sure you're aware of this, have a pretty rich history with Minnesotans. Blake Wheeler, of course, the captain from Minnesota. There's guys like Neil Pionk, Dylan Sandberg, Dominic Toninato. Do you know any of those guys? Like, would you ever have crossed paths with them, just maybe in training or things like that?
No, I don't know any of them personally, but I mean, I've heard they're great guys. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to, you know, hopefully one day meeting them and you know, suiting up for the Winnipeg Jets and playing on their team.
We'll go back to Ken Wiebe from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weaver.
Chaz, obviously different circumstances with the pandemic, but what were some of your interactions with the Jets like, and did you have a sense that they might be interested in you?
Yeah, I'd say in my interview process with the Jets, I thought they were really interested in me. I thought it was going to be a really good fit if I ended up there, and obviously they took me. So I'm really fortunate and happy with that, and I hope they are too. But I mean, the interview process was really good, and I thought honestly from the first interview that it was going to be a perfect fit if I had the opportunity to go there.
We'll go back to Mike McIntyre from the Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Chaz, is there a modern day NHL player, someone in the league already established that you maybe look up to and try to model your game? Is there anybody that comes to mind?
Yeah, I really look up to Mark Scheifele. He's a guy that I really try to model my game after, and it's pretty cool now, obviously being drafted by the Jets and to have him as an idol of mine. So I'm really looking forward to the opportunity there, and I'll keep watching his games and studying them well.
And we'll go back to Ken Weave from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weaver.
Chaz, your shot is something that is obviously brought up a lot. How did you become a sniper? And was it hours of hard work, or on terms of the shooting, or is that something that came naturally to you if you were a late starter at 8 years old?
I'd say it's more of the work ethic and the shooting pucks every day, just whether it be off angle shots, regular shots, or one-legged shots, whatever it may be. I feel like that really honed in my shooting ability as well. And then obviously natural athleticism definitely plays a part in that and helps.
We'll go next to Ted Wyman from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Ted.
Hi, Chaz. Another player they compared you to on the broadcast was Kyle Connor, who went through the U.S. development program and then university and then turned into a real sniper with the Jets. Is that a player that you follow closely as well?
Yeah, very, very closely. Yeah. I mean, Mark Scheifele and honestly Kyle Connor are two guys that I really look up to and try to model my game after for sure.
Well, thanks very much for doing this, Chaz. We do appreciate it, and we look forward to getting to meet you in Winnipeg.
Awesome. Thank you.